Hello, everyone, once again. This is Rob, and welcome back to Media Awareness and another album review. Before I continue, however, a quick reminder the fundraiser continues. For those of you unaware, I am a disabled individual and I use a motorized wheelchair slash scooter all day, every day for my independence, and I need your help. My insurance will not cover anything regarding my scooter. They view it as a luxury item. Therefore, I'm reaching out to you, my YouTube community, for your assistance. Below this video in the description in two places, I have a spot fund account linked, and by accessing that and by contributing there, you can really help out. I am endeavoring to gather the necessary parts to continue the ongoing refurbishing of my existing scooter before it completely malfunctions. Um, and they are expensive new, so I'm doing my best to basically piece together what I can and gradually replace parts as they begin to go. It's a lengthy and extensive process. However, I would rather be with these parts and have them on hand as opposed to being stranded. As without my scooter, I am a fish out of water. I'm unable to utilize a regular wheelchair or any other type of scooter as I can only use one hand, and my dexterity prevents me from using any other type of scooter aside from the one I currently utilize. So it is imperative that I have these parts on hand so when they start to go, I can have them replaced ASAP. Any all support is welcome. As I stated, the Spot Fund account is linked below in two places, directly below the title in the description, and a separate section underneath that itself. And I do want to extend a gracious thanks to those who have contributed thus far, as your contributions have made an incredible difference in my life and really made my independence thrive. Without my independence, I don't know what I would do. I really pride myself on my independence. So it is, as I said, imperative that I be able to have the parts I need on hand so that when these parts are going, that I can have them replaced. And some have already started to show some terrifying wear and tear, and I am uh, afraid on a daily basis that the scooter is not going to work or something is going to malfunction. I've already had my wheelchair van become non functional, and I am without a vehicle now as far as an actual um, automobile. So all I have is my scooter. I cannot use a regular wheelchair as stated, nor do I have a backup scooter or wheelchair. All I have is this, and I have to make it last. So please do what you can. I really appreciate that. So the day is here. It is exactly 7:17 as I'm filming this p.m. on February 12th of 2024. And the album It Leads to This by the Pineapple Thief was released this past Friday, February 9th of 2024. And I did listen to it on the 9th. I also listened to it on the 10th, the 11th, and earlier today on the 12th, just to give myself a perspective and informed opinion on my thoughts on this album. So, what are my thoughts on this album? Well, I want to give you that, but first, I want to run through some information about this album, including the track listing and credits themselves. So, as stated, this is The Pineapple Thief, it leads to this, and the album itself is playing in the background, which I hope will not affect my copyright on this particular video. But I do have the CD here, and it just arrived actually a short time ago. There you go. The actual cover. It's a digipack. It's actually cardboard sleeve. As you can see, it's very thin. I'll show you the interior and the back of it and everything in a moment. But I do want to go over some information that's stated regarding this particular release. So, this is the band's 14th studio album, and it was recorded between September of 2020 and July of 2023. And lead vocalist Bruce Sword and key songwriter has basically written the album with the mindset of really the uncertainty of 2020 looming over the album itself as a sort of blueprint of what's going to happen. You know, what's the world going to happen, going to come to as a result of this abrupt change in all of these countless deaths that occurred as a result of the pandemic, and just the world shutting down almost entirely, if not entirely. So that was sort of the catalyst for the writing of this album, and we start out with the first track, which is playing in the background here, and it is titled "Put It Right." And this track really has a nice build throughout it. It really sets the tone for the album and really kind of draws you in to this world that Bruce has created for us as sort of a tapestry. And as you can tell, it's just very, very uh, adequately and yet subtly paints this portrait of abstraction and sort of um, chaos, if you will, in my opinion. That's what I get from a lot of this, but also you get those nice moments of calm, sort of the calm before the storm, which is really how things felt initially. So we have that, and then the second track is called Rubicon, which is an excellent track and really has a lot of intensity behind it. And I'm going to scroll down my list here since I have my cheat sheet. Next track is the title track that leads to this, which I recently did a reaction video to. Amazing track, amazing song, and probably one of my favorite songs on the album. It really, really has a lot of dynamics to it. In the lyrical composition, musically, it's got a lot going for it. And it really has a great delivery from all the members vocally and musically as well on the title track. That's followed by the first single from the album, The Frost, which I recently also did a reaction to. You can see those reactions on my channel, of course. The Frost is a great song. It has a great build, a great intensity to it, a lot of different dynamic range instrumentally and progressively. It's one of the more progressive tracks on the album, in my opinion, but at the same time, it's very accessible. So it's a song I would probably play for someone that wasn't necessarily a fan of progressive rock and may have just been getting into it. Now, the Pineapple Thief is categorized as a progressive rock band. Uh, they could fall into the category of neo-progressive rock, even though most neo-progressive rock bands do not like that particular label. Um, but it's a term that defines bands that are making progressive rock in the modern day. So, moving along, we have the um, fifth track on the album. So I can learn how to work things here. Let's see here. All That's Left, which is an amazing song. All That's Left is one of my favorite songs on this album, actually. And they're all great songs, don't get me wrong. But All That's Left really has a great, great intensity, has a lot of highs and lows, and some amazing performances on there as far as the musicianship goes. That is followed by Now It's Yours, another amazing track with a really, really intense yet subtle build throughout, in my opinion. I like that a lot. And it really sort of ramps up at a certain point as well. Um, and a lot of these songs have that. They'll have these builds and these unusual time signatures, yet they'll bring you to a point and it's sort of a pinnacle. And it really, really works really well. Now It's Yours is followed by Every Trace of Us, which I recently also did a reaction to. It was a single off the album. The second single, I'm sorry. The second single to be released off the album. The Frost was the first single, and That Leads to Us was the third single. Every Trace of Us is an amazing track. It starts right in with the vocals and with the instrumentation, and it really, really is intense. And I think it's a great tune, amazing video, and there's a lot of shots from the actual album cover and the booklet in that video. Really well done. And that is followed by the last song on the album, which is called To Forget. And it is one of the best songs on the album. And it's unlike anything I've ever heard by the band. And they really, really outdid themselves on that track. It really takes you elsewhere and really brings a amazing intensity to this entire project. An amazing closure for an incredible album. So now I'm going to go through the members of the band and their contributions to the album, and then I will show you the actual album itself. We have Bruce Sword on vocals and guitar, lead vocals and guitar on this, and he is the key songwriter, although all members have contributed to the songwriting of this album itself. And then we have on bass guitar and backing vocals, John Sykes. On drums and percussion, the impeccable Gavin Harris. And on keyboards, um, and guitar, I believe, as well, is Steve Kitch. Um, and these are the members of the Pineapple Thief currently listed. Front cover. Just amazing, amazing album. Back cover with the track listing. There you go. And inside the album itself, the CD itself comes inside a separate package, and it says on here, not all roads lead to this, or lead here. Not all roads lead here. And the CD is actually contained inside here. I'm not going to take it out because it's really difficult to get back in, and I really don't want to smudge it any more than I already have. So that's one of the drawbacks from these particular types of sleeves with me being disabled, but I'm happy to finally have this disc. So then we have the actual booklet for the disc itself, and the booklet has a nice portrait on the cover itself of the album cover, minus the credits. And then on the back, it also has, it leads to this. So, what do I think of this album? Well, this album is probably one of the Pineapple Thief's finest works to date. Now, I've been a fan relatively shortly. I started getting into the band in the late 2020s, around 2018, 2019, and I really started listening to them a lot throughout 2019. And I began accumulating CDs. I had some fans of the channel send me things. You saw reviews of those on my channel. I have the initial first couple albums, first 4 albums, in fact, in a multi-disc set that was sent to me, along with a live album. There's just a lot that was graciously given me on this channel, which I really appreciate. But it only made me love this band even more as I heard more. I was able to connect with all these lyrics and intensity of the songs. And this album itself is really, really amazing. The production is phenomenal. Everything sounds great, everything's crystal clear. And the actual CD itself, the booklet, or the cardboard sleeve, opens up. I'll show you the interior as it is here, so that you can see this. The song that's playing in the background is The Frost. Really amazing track. There is the interior cover of the actual unfolding of the CD itself. Great artwork in this set. I'm beyond impressed with this. And of course, the Pineapple Thief, as stated in the past, along with Bruce Sword's solo work, Bruce Sword as a vocalist and as a lyricist is really unique. Vocally, his vocals are really unlike anyone out there at the moment, in my opinion. Lyrically, his phrasing, I've always said this with Bruce, his phrasing is unique. It's very much in the vein, in my opinion at least, of Syd Barrett from Pink Floyd. And if you don't know who Syd Barrett is and you're a Pink Floyd fan, you should be ashamed of yourself. But his lyrical phrasing reminds me a lot of Syd Barrett. Just the way that he'll stretch out phrases that normal songwriters would try and fit into one particular track or one particular phrase, I should say. He'll stretch them out beyond that phrasing, which stretches out the actual verses and or choruses, and it adds a lot of depth and a lot of diversity to these songs and to the band, The Pineapple Thief, as well. So, this album is an album that should not be missed. The Pineapple Thief, it leads to this. Amazing album from an amazing band. Their 14th studio album. So they've been around. They came around. They released their first album in 1999, which was primarily a Bruce Sword album. But from there, he added members, and the current lineup has been consistent since around 2014, and they are just continuing with a vengeance and with utter depth and just creativity that is unparalleled. So when you have the chance, treat yourself. Check out The Pineapple Thief. It leads to this. And this is available in multiple formats. It's available on CD, as you can see. It's also available on vinyl, and it's available on Blu-ray for those of you who have the fortunate ability to access Atmos. It's also available in 5.1 surround on the DVD and on the Blu-ray as well. But there is a DVD and there is a 4-disc set of this album available, which contains 2 CDs. The first CD, which I do have here, and a second CD of different mixes of the songs, different versions, which sadly I do not have, but I'm happy with what I do have. There's the DVD, which contains the surround sound mix and some other goodies, as well as the Blu-ray, which is equivalent to the DVD as far as what I can ascertain, except the Blu-ray also contains the Atmos mix, which hopefully someday I'm able to actually access Atmos sound. But at the current time, I listen through computer speakers, and that's all I had to listen through. So I'm limited, but I'm not complaining because it's a great album, and it sounds great however you play it. So the sign of a good album. And like I said, the songwriting, the musicianship is unparalleled. Check out The Pineapple Thief. It leads to this. This is Rob with Media Awareness. I was really, really pleased to bring you this album review, and only a few days after the album's release. This is definitely a privilege for me and a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to the next album. I may even be lucky enough to see the band on tour, and I would love to do that. So if that's possible, I will, and you'll be the first one to know. But in the meantime, I'm going to enjoy listening to The Pineapple Thief. It leads to this and their extensive back catalog of 14 albums total. And I do hope that you will all check out the fundraiser as stated. It is definitely a needed asset in my life, and being that my wheelchair van is no longer functional, I'm doing my best to stay upbeat and not fall into a state of utter and complete depression over that. And what does that for me is music. Great music, like The Pineapple Thief. I do hope to see you all again soon. Have a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are. Take care. Bye. Oh, yeah.